trying to record and re-record and have every point in the video in under 10 minutes is difficult. I am going to go like this. Okay, so I saw a video amongst lots of other videos of what's going on in Palestine. I Googled today if Palestinians celebrated Halloween because there was one story about a father who had found his son's Spider-Man costume in the rubble of their home. It was undamaged, and he took it and took the costume to his father's house, the little boy's grandfather's house, and then that apartment got damaged too. And then eventually, actually, the Spider-Man costume was undamaged again, and the little boy was somewhere else, and the little boy is not aware that his home or his grandfather's home were destroyed. So he said he's going to bring the little boy the costume. And when I went to Google, Google had finished, Google will finish writing what you're typing or try to guess, and it says, do Palestinians support Hamas? And so that would mean that that's one of the most top questions for do Palestinians, and the top question is support Hamas. So the thing is that people are asking, do Palestinians support Hamas because Hamas is a terrorist group, right? Hamas did kill civilians, and that's terrible. Hamas is not a military, it's a group of people. It's not a war, it's a genocide. Hamas is the only resistance to the occupation of Palestine. That being said, during the Nazi Germany, there were Nazi soldiers who attempted to assassinate Hitler. There were civilians who were hiding Jewish people in their homes. The soldiers who attempted to assassinate Hitler and the Jewish people the German people who hid Jewish people, their punishment would have been the same. They would have been killed for the treason of the Nazi Germany, because Nazi Germany wanted to have the genocide against the Jewish people, right? We lost, 2,500 soldiers on Normandy. American soldiers went in to stop the genocide in World War II. And we had just finished dropping an atomic bomb in Japan, right? The only thing that it all comes to my mind is just that, why do you want to know if Palestinians support Hamas? Because I'm not sure what a terrorist is anymore. Because when we can drop atomic bombs on civilians, it's a war crime, right? Japanese came to the United States and they did kill killed soldiers on our base at Pearl Harbor, right? But then we went to Japan and we didn't bomb their base, we bombed their whole city, right? That's what the Israeli people are doing to the Palestinian people now. The Israeli people, the Zionists over there, it's occupied Palestine, and they're trying to call it Israel. The United States backs Israeli Zionists. The United States is Israeli Zionist owned. The interest is not for the people, it's for Zionists, because we see that the lives are picking and choosing who is going to be a victim and who is not, right? But when I say who's going to be a victim and who's not, it's such a grander scheme than just Palestine. It's just more of a grand scheme of world powers. Everyone is a victim who is not a part of the world power doing the destruction in the world. Because your victimization is different from the others, doesn't mean that you're still not a victim. We have been lied to. We have propaganda, which is basically, the word, you hear the word, maybe you don't really understand what it means. It means that when you turn on the news reporters are going to report whatever they want to report, whatever they want you to feel and fear and think. Okay? So that's propaganda when you try to make Palestinian people seem like terrorists or try to seem like they deserve to be ethnically cleansed. There's no justification, first of all. There's reporters pretending that they're laying on the ground, that they're pretending that they're that they're being attacked, laying on the ground, and then you see people riding by on a bicycle because the journalists are lying. Meanwhile, journalists are being killed. 28 journalists in Palestine, 28 Palestinian journalists have been killed. One that I was watching too, I was following him, and because that's our way of knowing what's happening in the life. The journalists are not supposed to be attacked during war. That's a war crime. It's a war crime to have demolished all the hospitals, all the schools, 200 schools. I mean, they're from Gaza. Even do Palestinians support Hamas? Hamas is supposedly in Gaza. So why are Israeli soldiers currently on the ground in West Bank too, just running around shooting? And the IDF soldiers, you may have seen, but you won't see it on your media, on the news, Fox and all those, CNN, all those. I don't watch those news channels. That's why I'm aware of what's going on in the world. And that's why I'm not biased to what the American system wants me to think and believe. I can look at outside sources too. There's been 8,500 deaths already. And there's more than 2 million people in Palestine, Palestinian people. So they're trying to kill this many people, genocide. They're not evacuating them. They're killing them everywhere. They're telling them go here, they're bombing there. They're telling them use this road and bombing the road. Okay? They halted food for days, for weeks. The United States did not agree to a ceasefire. Can you stop shooting us? Like, it's women and children. Can you hear? Nope, the United States doesn't agree. Keep on doing what you're doing. Because the United States is Zionist run. That means I'm a victim because I'm not a Zionist. So why are you taking my money, my tax dollars, to supply these Israeli Zionist people who are, like, atrocious? There's some things we could do. We could just talk about it, right? We're aware. We see it. What's going on. It's traumatizing. It's more traumatizing for them. It's actually traumatizing for them. The children shaking. There's children, so many children. Okay, out of the 8,500 people who have already been martyred, 60% are women and children. 60%? How can you be proud of that? Of killing women and children? You know what? It's because we're the same humans who did Fukushima and Hiroshima. We're the same humans who have done this over time and time and time and time and time. Time again. It's not just Palestine, man. It's Congo, Uganda. There's genocides happening all over the world. You know, two things here. Do you need land? You need more land? Okay, why don't you have a population cap on your 2 to 3 children policy, right? So that you don't need more land. Or why don't you build better infrastructures, build towers, whatever you got to do, because obviously you can't sustain in your land, you're needing more land. Oh, do you want a military base somewhere else? What do you even need a military base for? Is it because you have so many enemies because you've been colonizing everywhere and stealing resources? Oh, resources you need, you say. Why don't you take some of those billions of dollars that you're giving away for guns and for fuel? I hear a jet right now, flying around for practice. So, the jet, you hear it? The jets can practice with the fuel, the same fuel that you just went into, Africa and stole, or you went into Iraq and stole, or you went into where and stole, and you're just sitting here practicing with it? So why don't you focus on instead, like, making jets that don't even need fossil fuel, some alternative energies or something like that? So you're saying you want our soldiers to go over there, and then, our country doesn't have universal healthcare, but the Israeli people, the Zionists, have universal healthcare, universal education. How can we afford to give that to them? How can we afford to drop off the bags of weapons over there? Just like the movie The Hunger Games. Like, here's the weapons, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Make sure you save me a seat at that table. I'll bring the food later, all right? That's literally what we're saying. We'll bring the weapons there. We see this, we do that. Oh, you need more? Okay, we'll send it over. The American people are going to pay us with their tax dollars. $3 billion that we send over there to the Israeli people every year. But there's $800 billion in military funding. That's a lot of money. There's only 8 billion people in the world. And so, I don't say 8 billion like it's a small number. Yeah, that's why we mass produce, and that's why we need this and that over there. Is that why you're colonizing? And that's why you're taking these resources and the little deals that you make where you're paying them less and pushing the pollution over there? Oh, we don't want the pollution over here. So just push it over there. And then when those people come over here and immigrate here, you can complain about them being here and complain about them immigrating here to find a better life, right? Why don't we take some, even if we took a couple of billion from that 800 billion, we could open full universities focused solely on sustainable energy. We're going to have to do these major types of things. We're going to need to have more universal programs in order to stop the genocide and the colonizing. Because, like I said, it's not just a race or nationality or a religion war. They're literally wars for all kinds of agendas that are mostly about land, resources, and wanting to have eyes near enemies. Well, you got to look at who your enemies are, and you know what? A lot can be said from history, looking at the wars that we've had and what's going on. So let me try to end this with saying that I challenge the United States, I challenge all Western countries to stop being so much of consumers so we can stop these genocides in Africa and Congo. They're digging with their hands in tunnels, women with children on their backs. The chemicals that they're digging for are so toxic, and it's in this cell phone that I'm using right now. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that. That being said, can we create, like any of you smart kids out there, put down the Roblox sometimes and challenge yourself and look at documentaries. We used to really invent things. Like, look, we didn't always have light. We didn't always have all of this. Maybe we can't even figure out still how to dispose of our garbage properly. As humans, we should focus on alternative energies, how to dispose of our garbage. Maybe we could even compact our garbage and make new materials. Stop this madness, right? And so we can't have all of these social problems and that much money. And what is the value of the money? Really, all we need is the know-how to get to where we need. We cannot say that all of these lives are dispensable for our resources. Otherwise, may the odds be ever in your favor while you go fight to the death to collect what I need to have my luxuries. Not to mention, we don't have that great of luxuries. We're all on debt. And hey, some people don't mind the debt and whatnot, but we could live so much better. And still, the fact of, if you're comfortable having genocide after genocide after genocide, and you don't even know about them, there's more, so many more, because of whatever products or resources, we need to focus on getting those products and resources locally. We can work on how to make factories that don't pollute our earth. We're not stupid, okay? We're not like the other animals in the world that are just going around eating and sleeping and reproducing. Okay, we are way beyond that. And you know that. Everybody knows that. Look what we have. We have satellites in the sky. All right? Did you ever see the movie The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind? A boy in Africa, I forgot which country, he would go to the garbage fills. Like I said, we can't even dispose of our garbage. That's on a human issue. He went to the garbage fills and would find little pieces of equipment, screws, wires, fans, some broken parts, like engines, or I'm not sure what they would be called. And he ended up building a wind turbine and was able to water the fields there because they had a drought, and they were able to make water go and have electricity with the wind turbine. And he found all of the material from a garbage pile. And so we can literally do things like that and try to make electronics. How can we make a phone that doesn't have that material in it? Let's say we don't want any of that. We don't want that material anymore. We can bring back factories here, localize it all, agriculture. What's wrong with our soil? It's that people don't want to do that, right? They want to have all the luxuries fast in the supermarkets. But what is the cost of it?